Welcome to Holding Down the Fort by U.S. VetWealth. I'm your host, Jen Amos, a Gold Star daughter, veteran spouse, and upcoming author. This season is dedicated to our seasoned spouses preparing for military transition. Together, we'll explore what happens when we stop following orders and start choosing what comes next. Because you too are retiring. And now it's your turn. Let's get started. All right, hey everyone, welcome back. For today, I am really excited to share that not only am I releasing chapter 1 of my book, The Military Spouse Benefit Plan, I'm also releasing chapter 2 and chapter 3. So if you've been following my journey, you'll know that I've been working on this book to speak to the military spouse about the survivor benefit plan on the journey of going through military retirement. Now, the reason why I've decided to not just give you the intro, which is already available, and not just chapter 1, but 2 and now 3, is because this next chapter, this third chapter, really embodies who I'm trying to speak to. In this book, we introduce a character called Susan, and she is a compilation of all the military spouses I've had the fortune to speak with, and not just me, but my colleagues at U.S. VetWealth. And my hope is that in learning about Susan, you can relate to her story and maybe see yourself in her story and her decision when it comes to the survivor benefit plan. So I'm going to read an insert. Like parts of it will be verbatim, parts of it will be just ideas that flow out of me as I go. So here it is. Here is chapter 3. And once again, you can already get the download of this ebook by subscribing to insidethefort.com. That's insidethefort.com. And upon subscribing, you will get instructions on how to get a copy of the intro plus the first 3 chapters. So here we go, chapter 3. Let me introduce you to the main character of our story. Her name is Susan. She's not new to military life, nor is she bitter about it. If anything, she's mastered it. 3 kids, a system for everything, from packing boxes to organizing the family's important documents. She's the woman who knows where the birth certificates are at a moment's notice and has the emergency contact forms pre-filled before anyone else asks. Tonight, Susan is sitting at the kitchen table in her 12th home. The refrigerator is lined with magnets from past duty stations. Her husband, Dave, just returned from a transition briefing. He's retiring 06 with 26 years of service. Still in uniform, scrolling through emails as Susan tries to make sense of a stack of papers and an open laptop. It was a lot, Dave mutters. Susan looks up. Yeah? What do I need to know? There's this thing called the SBP, the Survivor Benefit Plan, Dave explains, vaguely. Basically, when I die, you'd still get some of my pension. Susan raises a brow. Sounds morbid and vague. Dave shrugs. Comes out of retirement pay, my pension. I think we have to sign something. Now, the way he said we unsettles her. He doesn't sound certain, but something tied directly to Dave's pension, something that him and their family will be rewarded with after the decades of his service, seemed important to understand. No matter what happens in the early years of post-military, Dave's pension is the steady income they'll need to get settled. Later that night, with the dishwasher humming and the kids finally asleep, Susan decides to reopen her laptop. Something about Dave's tone didn't sit right, so she visits the DoD website, scrolls, and stumbles on an unfamiliar truth. The decision to choose the survivor benefit plan is not automatic, but how it's chosen is hers to make. Her written consent is necessary. Susan can't help but wonder, what if she didn't discover this on her own? Who would have told her? Of course, she shrugs her shoulders and raises a brow, thinking that seeking out important information is not new to her. As she continues to stare at the screen, a new thought begins to form. Wait, do I actually get to decide this? Now let me step in as narrator and let me tell you how I see it. You are not just the spouse, and retirement is not just your service member's decision. You are not an afterthought, nor an accessory to someone else's career. You are a partner in life, in family, and in finances. You may not wear the uniform, but your fingerprints are all over this life. You've juggled deployments, raised kids, coordinated school transitions, balanced jobs, and made life work. Sometimes in places that didn't feel like home. Every PCS, every grocery budget, months of solo parenting, while the military kept moving forward. I know you already know this, but let me say it anyway. You've practiced financial stewardship all along. Your intuition, your questions, your advocacy, they belong here, and they're not optional. In fact, they're necessary, and more so than ever with military retirement. On paper, you are more than a dependent, nor are you just the spouse. You are the beneficiary of the survivor benefit plan, your retiree's legacy, and therefore the decision maker for your family's financial future. Not Dave, but you, Susan. I want you to see that making a decision about the SBP is like choosing how you'd like to receive your reward. That's right, your reward for your military service. We know that you don't get a pension or VA disability like your retiree does, but we know that you served too. So I want you to take a moment to reflect on what I just said, and then ask yourself, what do I, the military spouse, Susan, what do I need to make a confident choice about the survivor benefit plan? And let me make it clear, my goal is not to have you reject the survivor benefit plan. The main goal of this book is for you to know with confidence what you're saying yes to or no to. Let's get back to Susan. So Susan doesn't storm into the next day demanding answers. She considers herself reasonable and pragmatic, after all. Instead, she takes out a notebook and starts journaling. She chooses to reel in the uncertainty and questions in her mind and gets focused. If there's anything her military life has taught her, it's that she can set a goal, self-educate, and adapt. She's not intimidated by benefits lingo, tax codes, or military retirement calculators. All she needs is to commit to understanding. This matters to me, Susan says to herself. And that statement alone makes the difference. If Susan is required to make any decision about the survivor benefit plan, she needs to know what she's signing. Now, coming back in as a narrator, here's what I want you to take away from this chapter. Understanding the survivor benefit plan is more than just a decision. It's a catalyst for making more empowering and informed decisions for civilian life. By now, Susan intuitively knows that unless she seeks something out, she won't know about it. But with the SBP becoming a very important decision for her during the military retirement process, she hopes that this is the last proactive task she must do as a military spouse. If you can relate to Susan, you may be tired of treasure hunting for answers that shouldn't be so hard to find. But now that you're deciding that something like the SBP is more than just another thing to sign off on the military retirement checklist, you're committed to seeing this all the way through. Consider the SBP decision as setting the tone. I'll say it again. Consider the SBP decision as setting the tone for civilian life. And don't worry, we're here to walk beside you, one page at a time. It is personally my mission to have one less spouse say, "How come no one told me about this?" End chapter. Alrighty, well, if you want to get the intro plus the first 3 chapters of my book, The Military Spouse Benefit Plan, just listen to the outro music. All right, that's all I have to share for now. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you got a lot of value out of today, and I'll see you in the next episode. Hey, thanks for listening. If you're seeking a second opinion on the Survivor Benefit Plan, subscribe to our podcast now at insidethefort.com. That's insidethefort.com. Once you subscribe, you will receive a free download to the introduction of my book, The Military Spouse Benefit Plan. Why? Because you've spent years holding it down for your family, and we are dedicated to helping you own what's next. See you on the inside at insidethefort.com, or we'll catch you in the next episode. Bye for now.